Chris here, and this is my 101st video. So I've done 100 videos. That came along very quickly. I started this channel in August 2024. So I try to put out at least one a week, but sometimes I get out two. So yeah, I hit 100 videos pretty quickly, so I thought that was worth celebrating. So thank you to everyone that's subscribed and liked and commented and all of those YouTube things. It means a lot. I'm just someone who enjoys action figures, and sharing them with the community has been very encouraging and warm and welcoming, so it's been awesome. I thought to celebrate this 101st video, to celebrate the fact that I've put out 100 videos, I would do a bit of a massive unboxing. And I'm looking around and I've got boxes on the floor in the toy room around me that I've been put off for trying to open for too long. So I'm going to attempt to do 10 unboxings in 10 minutes. So I've got some McFarlane Toys, some Masters of the Universe, all sorts of goodies. So I thought this is a good opportunity to kind of go through the backlog. So 10 unboxings in 10 minutes. Will I achieve it? Probably not, but it's going to be fun to try anyway. So here's 2 and there's 8 more. Let's go. Let's start with some DC Multiverse from McFarlane Toys, who keep pumping out some wonderful figures from DC Comics. So here we have Gangbuster, Black Condor, Starman, The Guardian, and Batman from No Man's Land, or Batman Troika, which is a comic series back in the 90s. So these are pretty much all obscure characters except for Batman, and they're very 90s kind of characters. So very happy to grab all of these. Let's open them up. I like that McFarlane Toys always include this lovely comic background, just the cardboard. That's pretty cool. They always also include a trading card which shows you a bio of the character, and the same artwork is on the back, which I like that they do that. So the Guardian is an obscure character created by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, the two guys who created Captain America for Marvel. They always also include a base and usually an accessory or two, which in this case is his shield, which is probably a bit too small, but here's the figure. So this is the Guardian, which is basically created in the 1940s but very popular in the 90s Superman comics from DC, which is when I was reading him. So I love the texture, lovely helmet, usual flexibility that we know, and yes, the shield just fits in his hands pretty easily. But yeah, pretty cool figure. This was $19, so instead of $50 from EB Games, they had a big sale on. So I managed to get Jim Harper, the Guardian, for only $19, which is fabulous. I would have liked if they had more raised here on the gold, like it is on the boots and the gloves, but no problem at all. So there's $19, definitely worth it. The Guardian. This is Jack Knight, son of the Golden Age Starman Ted Knight, and again his bio is there, same as the picture on the back of the card, which thankfully looks just like the figure. So he's spun out of the 0 Hour miniseries DC Comics. He was a reluctant superhero at first, thus the lack of costume, but this figure looks fantastic. I just love the kind of green on the goggles and the spiky hair and the lovely draping of the costume and the trousers. It's probably a reuse of a Alfred Pennyworth or Constantine figure, I'd imagine. They've got the lovely insignia on the back there as well, and the little sheriff's tin badge. The green, they're ticking all those boxes. So yeah, yes, James Robertson and Tony Harris, I believe, created this character and had a very acclaimed run in the 90s, which I must read. And this is his cosmic rod, which is one of his kind of weapons. Hoping that this kind of doesn't bend like the steel hammer does bend as well over time, but very intricate looking and pretty awesome. But yes, another staple of 90s DC Comics. Very happy to have this guy, very detailed, very comic accurate, thankfully. This is the Jack Knight version of Starman. Another base, which he's wearing because those wings make him heavy to stand. Another card, and another DC Comics legacy hero. This one also from the 90s. So this is Black Condor, the second version, Ryan Kendall. And I know a lot of the criticism with this figure is he's reusing a lot of the parts of Hawkman, which are different from his costume, especially the wings. So the wings could be better used if they use the Red Robin wings, because they're more the bladed ones. Black Condor didn't really have feathered wings, he had more bladed wings, as you can see on the lovely art on the back there. But nevertheless, I don't think we'll ever get another Black Condor figure, so I was happy to grab this one. It's a bit of a shame that his armbands are just painted rather than textured and raised like his chest harness is. But at least they got the necklace, they got the long hair, and yes, it's just a shame that they used the Hawkman parts, especially when he's even got a loop for his mace, which he doesn't come with. nevertheless, it's pretty cool that the wings can obviously open, even though they're not necessarily Black Condor wings, as I said. But I am a sucker for obscure DC Comics heroes from the 90s. I've got all of his 92 to 93 12-issue comic miniseries, so I jumped at the chance to get Black Condor here. And another obscure DC Comics character here, this is Gangbuster. He comes with the familiar figure stand and a lovely card with his bio. So this character was created in 1987. Jose Delgado, a school teacher and big in the Superman comics in the 90s. And like all the other figures we've looked at, an obscure DC Comics legacy character. A few different characters have had the moniker, the costume of Gangbuster, including a amnesiac Superman, I believe, at one stage. So yes, pretty cool. He's basically a normal powered guy, a school teacher with a bit of boxing and martial arts skills. And he's the first figure we've looked at so far to come with extra hands. So he comes with some nunchuck holding hands and his Michelangelo style nunchucks with a nice little chain there. And yeah, just like what they've done with the visor kind of there with a little sheen, which is pretty cool. And as you can see on the back of the card, very similar with the browns and oranges to his costume. So McFarlane love to add their flourishes, which we can see on the sides here with additional stripes, but pretty cool with the shoulder pads and the symbol and all that kind of stuff. So very happy to get this street level superhero added to the DC Comics shelf. So McFarlane have actually done pretty good with this Gangbuster figure none of us expected to get, I'm sure, and happy that they threw in some extra hands and some nunchucks, and plus the ones on his belt as well. So good job, McFarlane. Another McFarlane figure, another trading card and figure stand, and this one goes into a bit more detail of who Batman is at this particular timeline. So it says on the package it's based on the Troika storyline that ran in the comics in the 90s, but this is kind of after Nightfall when he came back and had the all black costume and with the little spikes on the legs as well as the gauntlets there. So yeah, pretty cool. I did like this costume, and it's based on the more Kelly Jones kind of moody kind of horror kind of art, like the back of the card says, with their longer ears and all that kind of stuff. I love Kelly Jones, very evocative artwork and all the usual articulation. They are pretty stiff, so most McFarlane Toys figures, they're a bit of stiff straight out the package. In fact, with Gangbuster, I had to heat up with some hot water his extra hands that he came in, just so he could hold the nunchucks, because they weren't fitting in there otherwise. But yes, this is a very cool likeness of the Kelly Jones art style. I love this costume. It didn't last very long in the comics, but as you can see, it's pretty much all black except for the utility belt and the symbol. This one actually comes with a wired cape, which is cool, so you can get him into some of those lovely evocative poses like that. He also comes with a humorously oversized batarang, which a lot of these Batman figures do, and a couple of fist hands as well, which don't match the costume because they got the grooves on, but nevertheless, very happy to have this 90s Batman on the shelf. Looks awesome. Moving on to Mattel now, and the 2000X cartoon collection from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe animated series that ran in the early 2000s, which I still have yet to watch all of, but they had a drastic redesign of characters in some cases. So I've got this Teela and Skeletor from retail here in Australia. I think they're available pretty easily, well, depending on the character. So I've already got Zodak. I am chasing Prince Adam. So yeah, pretty no text on the back at all, no character or bio or any of that stuff, because these are the international editions, I believe, so only the American editions have text on the back. But I like the colours and the redesigns that they're doing with these characters. They don't come with mini comics, and they usually just come with one or two accessories. So let's open up Skeletor and Teela. Like all the cartoon collection, well, all the Origins figures, they come with a little pamphlet showing what parts are modular, so you can take parts off and swap the limbs and the heads and all that kind of stuff. Teela's redesign from the 2000X cartoon looks pretty awesome. Probably with the female figures with their skinnier limbs, they're a bit hard to stand, so I've just thrown her on one of the extra DC stands that I have. Comes with the snake staff done in a single colour. Comes with a lovely smirk on her face, and the lovely hairstyle as well, very kind of manga-ish anime influence. There's not a pivot point there, but it's flexible enough, and obviously they've got a bit more simple articulation than the McFarlane figures, but the designs are pretty cool. And yeah, as I said, they're posable and modular, so you can take parts off and the skirt piece is removable, that kind of thing. So yeah, pretty awesome. I'm glad I saw these, both Teela and Skeletor, on the shelves, and you recognize that is Teela, but certainly an updated design. I've got a few, but not all, of the 2000X cartoon collection origin figures from Mattel. Just like Teela, he also comes with a little pamphlet showing his modular parts, Skeletor here, so you can remove his head and waist and arms and all of that kind of stuff, which is awesome. And obviously he's got the purple and the blues, the light blues, and the white face, and the skull and the red emblem. So yeah, pretty similar to what we know from Skeletor. No cape though, but that's okay. And he actually comes with a bunch of accessories, which is pretty awesome. So here he's redesigned Havoc staff for the 2000s cartoon, pretty brownish, and a lovely purple kind of on the staff, and a bit of a skull there with some slightly yellow eyes, I think, by the looks of it, potentially. Nope, okay, it's just my light. And he also comes with a couple of swords, 2 halves of the power sword, I guess, or his version of it. And I was going crazy because both of these have the male connectors, so I looked at other reviews on YouTube, and the orange should have holes so they can actually connect, as the back of the card shows. So these swords are actually meant to connect. Mine don't, because they're both male parts, so yeah, I just couldn't get them. Like, what am I doing wrong? It shouldn't be this complicated, but basically they should look like that. Mine, however, do not, but you know, a bit of blue tack will fix that, but pretty cool. And yeah, Skeletor again looks pretty awesome, and yeah, not a lot of paint application or details. These are the cheaper cartoon collection figures, but they look good all on the shelf together, so pretty happy that they're expanding the roster of the 2000s animated series, which I know has a lot of fans. So there we go, there's Skeletor. Mismatched swords, sure, but not a big deal, and obviously because of the cheaper price point, he has no jaw articulation either. But you look at that and you go, yep, that's Skeletor. Lastly, to round it off, we've got 3 evil horde characters from the Masters of the Universe, and these 3 are all from Mattel Creations, the exclusive website. So we've got one of my favourite bad guys from Masters of the Universe. This is Hordak, the Hurricane Hordak version. We've got Despara, who was basically an alter ego of She-Ra before she became good. This is Voltak from the cartoon collection from the 80s cartoon, so a very obscure character. Lovely packaging as always on all of these Mattel, and particularly Mattel Creations figures. So yes, 3 more figures to round it up to do 10 in 10 minutes. Let's go. Voltak here, the evil flying zookeeper, which is a lovely description. Comes with a comic, which is awesome. I do like this art style actually. It comes with a little kind of cool hoverbot, which looks like a vacuum cleaner. There's no wheels. It's kind of got this nice silver varnish. It's got a handle, and basically just a touch of paint with the orange dot and stuff, and he can just hold that in his hand, which is pretty cool. And he is, yeah, very purple. He's got a cool kind of green goblin looking face. He's got the horde symbol there, and these kind of cuff pieces, and his neck piece is removable as well if you want to take that off, because he is modular, and he's literally just lost his head. There we go, let's pop that back on. But yeah, pretty simple colour, and his wings just pop on the back as well. It's just got a couple of little pegs there. I like that the back piece kind of curves in like that, or just only one colour, but some nice detail. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, as you said, he's evil, he flies, and he's a zookeeper. What more do you want? So yeah, he is one of the obscure bad guys from the Masters of the Universe cartoon. So he doesn't come with any other hands or weapons or anything like that. Simple articulation, but he certainly does the job, and he looks bright and interesting. Despara was basically the brainwashed version of She-Ra. So Hordak captured She-Ra as a baby and brainwashed her, and she became the evil captain of the evil horde. until He-Man kind of snapped her out of it, and she snapped herself out of it, I guess. So here we go. So yeah, Despara, I think this may be the first time we've had a figure. Perhaps there was a Master Universe Classics figure, I'm not sure. But pretty cool, the reds and blacks. I love the Horde colour scheme. That's just a soft, well, it's not a soft goods, but it's a pliable plastic. She's got the 2 swords on the back, which are Triclops' swords, and they are pretty big. In fact, that was one of the criticisms when this figure first came out. That is pretty stiff to remove. But yeah, they're pretty big. She can hold them, but she looks pretty funny holding both of them. They should have given her smaller sword. And see how big that is. It's like, that is a big sword. So but yeah, pretty cool outfit, good costume, and she comes with a removable helmet, Horde inspired, and that's Eldora with her lovely eye makeup. It's pretty good head sculpt with the short hair and all that kind of stuff. I like it. And there's the mask that she can wear. So yeah, pretty cool, and it looks like the cover of the comic there. So yeah, her head can come off, and this little cape part can come off as well if you want to give her a different look. But it's good that Mattel Creations are giving us these kind of deeper cut characters. So yeah, there we go, bit of a more streamlined look. Yeah, pretty cool. So you get 2 accessories with the cape and all that kind of stuff, the mask, and obviously the comic. So there we go, that is Despara, powerful captain of the evil Horde. Hurricane Hordak is a vintage figure that I had as a kid, one of my faves, and this is the comic that he comes with. And I love about all these 3 figures is that they come with collector friendly packaging, which basically means that you don't have to rip open the box. You can remove them or slip out the backing card, as we saw in Voltec and Despara. In this case, just slip it out the side, play with it, put it back in and display. So that's awesome, no ripping necessary. And they've also added the instructions for Hurricane Hordak's hand. The vintage figure had a dial on the back which you would turn, and that would rotate the different attachments on his arm. But in here you remove his hand, and then you place on this little piece, and you place on the attachments, and then you spin away. So you'll see there's a dial, so you just spin that, and there you go. So it's actually pretty cool. They've actually designed it quite well, and obviously that gold vac metal on his lovely chest armor looks fabulous. Just like the Hordak we remember of old. So yes, he's got the kind of the bolo one there, and he's got the blade. So again, just plug it in. So if you're getting a bit hot on summer nights and your ceiling fan is broken down, I'm sure Hordak here can help you. These are all just done in one colour, and I do remember this one as well from a kid. And yes, so they've actually done it pretty well. It's pretty cool, and yes, I think this works a lot better rather than on his back. So pretty awesome. At least we've got those 3 different options, and he looks just like Hordak. And he also comes with an alternate head, so you can just pop his head off. And this is his like punk rocker days, where he was really into, you know, death metal and anarchy. And you can place that on. I think that might be perhaps a more comic version or a more concept art version. I'm not sure, but you can see they're actually 2 different looking heads, but they still look like Hordak. So pretty happy to have Hurricane Hordak. What a good looking bunch. So there we go, 10 figures, a few from McFarlane and a few from Mattel, and basically covering DC Comics and Masters of the Universe. So yes, each figure of these probably deserves their own video, to be honest, but it was good just to kind of get through the backlog of stuff that have been sitting in boxes on my tour room floor. So yes, here's the celebration of 100 videos, or now 101 videos. And yeah, it's just awesome, and a lovely reminder to myself that these toys are worth opening, they're worth unboxing, they're worth playing with and displaying, and not just, you know, worth gathering dust. So very happy to have some of these very obscure Masters of the Universe and DC Comics characters to add to my shelf. And yeah, thank you for watching. For however many of these 100 videos you've watched, thank you very much. Comment, like, subscribe, do all those things that YouTube wants us to do if you feel so led. And thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'll catch you at my next video, which will be 102. Goodbye, geeks.